Hello and welcome to the Sketching Greyhound. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hey Raina, yeah, you were the first. Thank you very much. I was a little bit quick there with the transition. It was a user error with the software. But it's time to start. So welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for dropping by. We will be today drawing Scarlet Witch, and it will be a draw along. So if you find this right now live, or if you find this later, do feel free to draw along and join. I have linked the picture down in the description, but also it is available on my Discord. I am also uploading all my reference pictures on the Discord so that you can just draw with me whenever you feel like it. And yeah, I'm just now in the last steps of setting everything up so that we can start. So I have drawn Scarlet Witch before, and there were some voices asking for a tutorial, so this is why I am doing this today, and I hope that you enjoy this too. So let me check. And I have to check on the second. Something is playing music that should not be playing music. So yeah, so better, I hope. Okay, so as we are doing in a draw along, there's nothing really prepared. Normally I prepare my picture in beforehand. This time there you can see, as you can see, you can't see anything. That is because if you want to join me, we will start together. Although this will not be 100% as slow as the last time. I think I will be a little bit more speedy. But we start, as I always start, by defining where to put the face. That means you can put three limits to, you can just freely decide where to put those three sides, and then you have to measure where I have to put the top of the head. And interestingly enough, the mask starts a little bit over the exact same, so it's almost a square, at least until the mask starts. The mask is something we did definitely not have in the last draw, along with Tom Holland, and I'm looking forward to this one. Can you draw your subscribers? I could, but there are so many people out there. I know that Eve has done something like that, but I'm not that quick of a drawer as Eve is. She has drawn them tiny. I'm not that good in it, so I haven't planned it. Let me say it like that. It doesn't mean it will never happen, but I have not planned for it. My ethnicity, I am very boring Caucasian white guy. So very standard. I've been in the garden the last couple of days though, so I might look a little bit darker than I normally look. But the camera does make me completely white, so forget what I said. Could show you what I look like on Discord, or you could see from my videos. I have seen your videos right now, Reese. I think. Oh no, I could not respond. I think I could not comment. I watched the video, but I think comments were disabled. So, how do we continue? We will see where we put the eyes, mouth, or nose. And you know, you can always post your on my Discord. There is a channel for advertisement of your videos. You can always post a video there. You can post your favorite video for the whole Discord to see. So we will have to make it a little bit of an angle where the eye is. Where the eyes are, on mouth and nose, everything of course, because she has a little bit of an angle in there. So we will consider that angle. And if you are just now entering the stream, it is still more than possible to join drawing. So if you're interested in that, just take a piece of paper and a pencil, whatever kind. If it is a regular one or if it is a mechanical one or whatever, and you can just jump in with me. The only thing I've done yet is measuring. So we have the headband or the crown, or however you want to call it, somewhere around there. And yeah, this is the chin, the sides of the face, and now we will see where the eyes are. So I will check for half of the face, but half of the face actually gives us the nose. So let me check again. The upper nostril is half of the face. So I have to scoot around a little bit because I have to look around the camera. It's a bit close there. So something like here is the upper part of the nostrils. So they will be directly below this line. We just have to remember that you can, if it is the middle of the nostril, you just have to remember what that line is supposed to tell you. Then, let me check next. If we take a half again, I feel like we get some information about the eyes. Yes. They are about half between that line and that line. We have the lower line of the eyes, so something like here. It's a bit higher than the lower part of the eyes, or something like this. And then let me activate my slideshow. So if you are new to the channel, you know what kind of pictures I am drawing. Ah, by the way, of course I have not started the recording. Why should I? I only need it for the video afterwards. So let me just quickly, just so I have something to tell in the video, trace the lines. I only trace them virtually, just so I can talk about them. And I will even measure this part once again to show, just like also this part. I should have done it the other way around, but we will see. I have to be creative in editing, so let's continue. We have the mouth, which is also about the same distance. Yeah, the lower lip, you know, if we take this distance and lay it on there, we have the, from the lower lip, the upper part, this line. I did not draw that visibly. There, so somewhere around here. It again did not draw. I can't work with my own materials. So something like that. This is the lower part. And now that we have that, we can continue. It's not wrong, I just want to make it a little bit less visible, because we have, after all, we have a slight slope in there. So we will have to fix that a little later, but now we have to find out the distance of the eyes, you know, from the middle more or less. Okay, so more or less a fourth. This measuring part is not always easy, but you can correct it whenever you want to. So we can go in, so we have here more or less the half line, the point already. It is not half, but it is, again, because we have an angle in the head. So if I measure on the portrait, we have about the middle, so the bridge of the nose is 1 and yeah, a little bit less than a half, so it's not wrong. So a little bit to that side, perhaps a bit big. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so this would be the bridge of the nose, the middle. There is no point there, I just am using that now to calculate, to measure the eyes. And on that side we have about half. Although we have to also consider that this is the face, but there's also the crown coming around, so I like when the measurements line up in a good way, in a way that it is logical, you know. You measure that distance between, I don't know, nose and eyes, and it's the same between nose and mouth, or something like that. Yeah, I think that looks almost, we'll check this again, but that looks pretty okay. We have to measure the left eye separately because we have this angle, and there you actually have the 1-to-1. So I try to check out middle. Is this middle? No, it's not. So a little bit shorter, even shorter. So this is about middle. So this is, so we have the position of the two eyes here. Doesn't look like a face now, does it? Yet. So we have, this is where I go a little bit faster than I normally do. Let's, this is very, not normally do, like than I did in the last. This is about my speed. I am doing when I am preparing my pictures, although this is already much more detailed than I go into. But I now just, what I'm doing right now is I just guess. I guess how big the eye should be. It's not as much guess, it is feeling, it is instinct, it is what practice brings you, you know. You just get a bit of feeling. And I am putting those creepy little circles on there, which is thankfully normally my videos skipped a little bit when I do my time lapses. So something like that, and then you have two eyes. They're not perfect, but they're eyes. And we can check the size ratio, for example. They should be more or less the same size. We have an angle in the eye, but it does not have a real impact on the eyes. So I am happy with that for now. And then we can go to the nose. Hey, wee Bob. Hey Bob, how are you? I haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're good. Yeah, sorry, not been around much. I noticed. Missing you, man. Love getting back to office life here and business. Is that good? It sounds like a good... I think it's a good thing. But still, you're probably more busy. Hello, Deborah. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for dropping by. Great. I'm glad you do. Thank you so much for dropping by. This is actually a draw along. You will probably not be able to do that, but I am describing in a little bit more detail what I'm doing and how I am doing it. So if you ever want to draw a portrait, I have some videos for you. So, the nose, actually, it's all about measurement. So I'm talking about measurement a lot already again. So you can measure the nose actually as about the same size as the distance between our nose line that we have drawn here. That marks the top of the nostrils, and the lower part of the eyes, and that is more or less the same distance. I think it always feels a little bit like an optical illusion. This does not look the same as this, but it more or less is. I hope, or I've done something wrong. It's time for the YouTubes. Yes, of course, and actually drawing things. I've finally watched all Marvel with the exception of Winter Soldier TV series. I haven't watched that. Wonder Fest on Saturday. That is a binge-worthy series though. I have not seen Loki yet, and I have not seen The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So those two are missing, and of course Black Widow. So we have the sides of these. So what I'm again doing is a little bit of guesswork where the nostrils should be. Something like that. We'll go into much more detail later. And just a little bit of the nose itself. you have to remember we have this tilt in two directions. We have that tilt, that angle, and we have that. I've now done it a bit extreme, but just so that you know and see it. So how are you doing, Deborah? And Raina, if you're still here. I have not even asked you how you're doing. I'm very sorry about that. And how did you like the movies, Bob? Which ones are your favorites? And meanwhile, we will be looking at the mouth. So we remember this line is for the bottom part of the mouth. We have to find out how big the mouth should be. So I'm measuring the mouth and I'm trying to actually find any part in the face that has the same relationship distance-wise. Of course, something that I have already drawn. Everything else does not really help me. But there is not a lot, so it is obviously a little bit bigger than the nose. So I'm measuring, and the thing that will help us on the right side, not on the left side, but here on the right side is it meets up with the eye more or less. So a straight line down from the eye, it has to be tilted a little bit, again because of her face tilt. And then we have the end of the mouth, pretty much here. And on the other side, it's not like that. It's a little bit further away than the line from the nose. So I would say something like this. So that is about our size of the mouth. Enjoy the movies. Not sure what is my favorite, but least favorite of recent might be the Spider-Man Far From Home one. Really liked Tom Holland, but I just didn't like the story and villain. Did you know about the villain? Did you know Mysterio beforehand? Because everybody that knows the comics of Spider-Man probably pretty much knows Mysterio, I guess. And so it was... If you knew that, it was pretty clear that Mysterio was not what he seems to be. Let me word it like that. And then you... I again am just a little bit guessing how big, and we can always verify and measure, and we will anyway just fix this all in between while we draw. Take it you are not affected by the floods, etc. That's true. We are living on a mountain, thankfully. So it is really terrible. My neighbor is actually a doctor in the Bundeswehr, in our Bundeswehr, in the army, and he is right now stationed up there where the floods are, and it is really terrible with what they... It is probably the worst thing we have experienced in a lot of years. You do not feel anything of that around here. Just I'm living near some of the biggest... I can see them actually from my windows, the biggest rivers, and they get a lot of water, and the houses near it, they get to feel it also. And there was a town, a very small one, but it was very heavily affected, quite near. But you don't, you know how it is with the quarantine, you don't go out anyway. You hear it in the TV, it could almost be in a different country, but it is so terrible if you hear it. It's really crazy. Thank you for your concern. But it's really, it's here. I am, as I said, I'm living on a mountain, but still, they said, at least in those really affected areas, not as much here where I live, but you should not even start washing stuff or doing too much with water, because the sewer systems were just also so full and always in danger of overflooding anyway. So really crazy. And but there you see what we have to prepare for, right? I know not everybody overseas believes in climate change, but you can see the result all around us. So here we have the middle. We measured this as the middle, this point. So we also have more or less the middle of the crown here. But I think it's actually a little bit moved to the right. Hey Mary, welcome to the stream. How are you today? Thank you so much for coming. We are doing a draw along today, but I think nobody's really drawing along today. But this will still be available after, of course, after the stream. Also, so you all know, this picture is available in the description. There's a link, and then we also have it on my Discord. You can find the link to the Discord down in the description, and there you can also post your pictures if you want to know, if you want some help, or if you want to know how to move on. If you just want to show what you have done, you can show it there. By the way, Deborah, do you have an Instagram? I am not sure if I have you on Instagram. I think here you, yes, this is you. I did not have you on Instagram. So. Some little time before evening walk with kids. Yeah, the dog walk is already over on our side. So thank you very much for spending that time here in my stream. It is kind of a slow day today, but I'm also very tired, so it's kind of fitting. I was in the garden. Everything is, I already showered, but still everything is crawling across my skin, you know. I love our garden, but when you start to pull weeds and stuff, I'm not a big fan of bugs and similar things. This drawing is going to be interesting. Yes, are you going to paint your eyes with red? It is a draw along, so I won't do it. I would actually also very much have enjoyed to draw this on the gray paper, but as I want to do this as a draw along, because on some of my older videos from Scarlet Witch, I was asked for a draw along of this one, and I also said it last week, so that I would probably do a draw along of Scarlet Witch, but that meant that I could not just say, surprise, this is not a draw along. So I did it on white paper, and I still think it might become nice. And I was thinking to still do it with the red color in the eyes, because that would be quite a nice effect. I might even do it, you know, why not? Even if it is a draw along. I'm not the only person with watercolors in the arsenal, so I don't know. I should leave the eyes open wide to still keep that possibility. So they are again, the eyebrows are about halfway, but not fully halfway. So my feeling says something like here, but then of course a little bit up and down, a little bit here in line from here, and then we can go like this, something like this. I'm on Instagram. Yeah, I have found you. It's the same with me, Deborah. I have completely not posted for quite some time now. I was actually really up to date, and that time that I could actually post a new photo together with the video, more or less, I didn't, and then I didn't for 1 or 2 weeks, and now I'm back. I have a backlog again. So something like that. I think it already looks like a face. We do not have Scarlet Witch directly in there yet, but we have somewhere here with the ears. As I said, I will be a bit quicker today, so I will measure this very quickly. Yeah, I think we are pretty much okay around here. And then this is also pretty okay. You could do it, and your draw along buddies can do it too if they want and if they have the materials. You know, I felt already bad when I was drawing Tom Holland and we're using all the different pencils I have, and I was always saying, oh, you don't have to use another pencil, but I'm using it because it's much better and cooler. And I felt a little bit bad because I was afraid that some people might be a little bit frustrated that they don't have those tools, and when I now start to bring in even color, that would be even more extreme. So I'm not sure if I will do that. It would be much easier if I could post from my PC. You can. I am doing that. Do you know how? It is not that difficult, actually. I will pause the video because this is actually a nifty trick that I googled that helps a lot. So if you are interested in knowing that, there is a way to do that. Give me a second and I will show you. So for that, I can show it to you in, let me switch to my Chrome. I hope it works. Give me a second. Why doesn't it work? So this is Deborah and Deborah's Instagram. And I really love, look at, I just love how you bring all those patterns. Also, why does it's broken there in the tree branches? It is so cool. I love how you manage to do always new stuff with those patterns. That is so cool. You can let me show it very quickly. I will just open this up. I need to show you the side of the browser. So you really only have to go to these three dots at the top. Oh, it doesn't show you the options, but there, and it would be German anyway. But there is an option additional tools and then developer tools. And if you activate developer tools, there is a little icon there. I have already, you know, when I switch here to developer tools, you have the source code and all that technical stuff of the web page. But you also have here this little window, this little toggle where you can show it as if it is mobile. And if you refresh the image, you get all those options, and you see this button as if you would be touching the screen, and you can just go to the plus and just add that way images, and you can copy paste text and everything. So you just have to make your browser believe that you are on a mobile, and you can do that pretty easily with Chrome. So thank you, Bob, for being here. I'm just seeing you're going. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you dropping by. So have a great day and see you soon, I hope. Okay, so, but we can go back to the picture. Don't worry about it, Mary. I had that, you know, I hated always to go to older posts, copy paste, also the hashtags and stuff. And it's so much easier on the PC, and I have no idea why they try to force you to do it on Instagram, because posting videos directly from the phone means often that they are not really edited, which is not something that ensures maximum quality of your videos. And it's just so terrible to upload videos otherwise, to just first upload them to your phone, send them to yourself via email if they're not too big, and it's such a hassle. I'm glad I could help, Deborah. And don't you worry, I have really put those scenes in where I can show you browser and everything to do exactly that, but especially also to show other people's work, just like your amazing work. So if somebody's drawing along or something, that I can also show those pictures. But also there are so many crazily talented people in my chat, always, like Mary and you, and we Bob, where I just feel like sometimes I want to do them justice and show a little bit of what they are doing, as long as they are okay with it, of course. So the mask is actually pretty big when you measure it, so it is even bigger than this distance here. So if I put that here, we have this line, yeah, that is about parallel, and then we still need to go a little bit higher, like here and here then, although probably too high. So, and then we have to measure. We can actually, in this case, just go up here, and then we need that tilt. Don't forget that tilt. Something like, oops, like here, I would say. And on this side too, we need to just go like here. A bit high, something like here. Then there is some kind of slope in there. Okay, something like that. Looks a little bit like a devil, doesn't she? And then it goes very much down here. And then there is, I think there is hair in the way actually, so we need to go from this part. So I will just try to guess this, and we will check this during the drawing process. Something like that. It does not look at all like the same. I think there is a lot of hair in place that is obscuring the mask. So we have here kind of hair here. There is kind of a middle. The hair is about the same height here, so something like this. And then it goes very much wavy. This will be not too easy to draw. So if you're drawing along, you can already look forward to this one. If you do not have too much hair experience, this won't be the easiest one, but for both of us. And we have here hair, something like this. Yeah, but that is more or less our Scarlet Witch. We need kind of the neck. Those are also areas where precision is not so 100% important. And we will put that in a little bit later. I would say something like this. And details we'll put in as much as we want to. But I guess there will be a couple of details down here that we will draw in. The thing about watercolor painting for stress relief, meditation, relaxation, I found something like that on YouTube. I think, sure, there can very well be stuff like that. I think Dara has done a little bit so looking for shapes in the watercolor and stuff like that. I really like those things, those approaches. Thinking about making a compilation video with relaxing music. I think it makes... I don't think you can do something like that every 2 weeks or something like that. I think doing something like that, for example, every month as a compilation about the month, so you have more than one things that you're doing, you know? You have a compilation and can link all of your videos in that you have done in a month, or 2 months or whatever you want to, and you can put in relaxing music to make it a meditative watercolor thing, but also something where people can see, okay, have I missed something? Which other great pictures has she drawn in this month, you know? Stuff like that I could very well imagine. Okay, so, but that is our first part of the Scarlet Witch. Now there's a little bit of the question if I draw in the color. I'm happy with the with how it looks for now. The thing is, I'm not sure how to really approach the shading yet. I have to be honest about that. So on my Discord, I actually have also uploaded a version that I have made a bit lighter, so that you can see the shading a little bit better. And also, I do not want to go completely dark in the face, because without the context of the background, it would look very strange if I would draw her so extremely dark. So we will not do that, but we still need to draw her a little bit darker in certain areas. Well, I will start also going in with the darker pencil, because we are talking here about eyelashes and makeup around the eyes, which just makes it really dark. And now I should start with anti smudge paper. Of course, always Mary. So I'm really honest here, and that's why I said I would try to also perhaps do something like make it the monthly compilation or something, because just for relaxation and music, I would at least not click on it. But I know there are people out there that would, so you can certainly do it that way. But I would not be the one. I would not be the target audience for just any combination of watercolor with music. I don't know. Still don't know if I want to color them in red. I might leave it like that, but I normally like to draw the eye, because otherwise it can look a bit creepy. But we will leave it like this for now. I really enjoy those. In general, I like watching others draw and paint. It is relaxing and I learn at the same time. Yeah, that's true. That's what we are aiming for, right? The eyes are creepy, that is true. So as long as they are creepy, I have actually done something according to the original. So there's something not completely right. I think the white is too big on that side. It's to be more like this. She has really heavy makeup, of course, around the eyes. So and now they're going to stare at us for the rest of the live stream. One for now. The second will join soon, though, I hope. Have you seen WandaVision, Deborah? Mary? Have you seen the Marvel movies? Also, I just love, Deborah, that you have a picture of yourself on the side, because you have a very striking, very calming voice, I think, and it's so interesting to see the face that belongs to the voice. And I'm at all not disappointed. I want to also say that. So your kids are impatient. It was nice. Thank you very much for dropping by before you go to your walk. I really appreciate you spending time here with us. And you're running from the eye. That's exactly what I was talking about when Anna last time asked why I draw the eyes first. Because otherwise people are running from the image. I would just show her what you have written as proof. So we do not, the resolution of the picture doesn't really give us a whole lot of detail in terms of eyelashes and stuff, but we know they are there, so we will put them in. Some of the older Marvel movies, my family loves them, though Marvel comics and movies are often the subject of dinner conversation. You see? You should all of them show all of them my channel. Don't know if they are art inclined. You're commenting on my icon. I just changed it today. I finally got brave enough to show my face. You see, and you directly get very positive feedback from me. You can see it as very positive feedback. So I applaud you, and you have nothing to hide. And I completely understand that you have to build up the braveness braveness, is that a word? The courage, that's the word, to do that. I had to. Okay, so we have 2 eyes and we have to continue shading around them. So we have this quite heavy makeup around the eyes. That will hide again our eyelashes, so we might have to put something in later. Actually, there is a little bit of a... Oh, this is not too easy to implement. Actually, there is kind of a lighter area directly next to the eye. So there is a little bit of a lighter line. I guess it is by choice. So part of the makeup, so we will try to recreate that also. So the same over here, so we have quite hard makeup around the eyes, but a little bit of a lighter line directly next to the eye. Hello Alex, welcome to the stream today. So online work meeting about to begin. Keeping me on in the background. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Deborah. I really appreciate it. And I won't tell anyone. Those darn online meetings. Everybody has them these days, don't they? Don't you? Don't all of us? I always liked online meetings before they became so much. I was always somebody saying, no worries, online meetings are just as good. Why don't we have all our meetings online? But I think some face-to-face conversation, it's a little bit of, you can get distracted quite easily in an online meeting. At least that's how I feel. So we are just putting in a couple of shadings to find our main features of the face, to bring it all a little bit together. Fruitful meeting. Not allowed to eat fruit at the moment, so not for me. But we will bring probably switch to my lighter pencil though. We will bring this area together already because we have a shadow going on here, and we have to be careful to shade that not in a way that it looks like a monobrow, you know. That means ideally we do not have too big too rough lines, bit of a smoother shading. Sometimes it helps to go from multiple direction over the same area to get it a bit smoother. You have to try what kind of techniques work for you. Just test a little bit. In this picture or of a separate piece of paper, however you want to. So, and then we have a very distinct white highlight going down the complete nose. I guess we have to let it go a little bit higher again. That's why I like the knittable eraser. I can very easily knit it into whatever shape I need. So, but how deep do we have to go? We will find out by going for the nostrils first and work our way up from there. That's at least how I always find my bearing in such a situation. Need to make sure that the shape is about correct. This is a bit too sharp, so we'll tone it down a little bit, and then we have nostrils. They should be about the same size. They are not, so I will try to find out why. So something like that. I don't know exactly. Okay. So is also completely wrong. Not happy. Let's see. Draw with a harder pencil so it's easier to erase and not so permanent. Almost. Does this work? Something is bothering me already. I think that's better. That shape is already better. Still, we will see. I have to just go for it at some point and bring those shadings more together again, and then we will see. So again, start now with the harder pencil. And we'll see if we need the darker pencil to get more contrast in. But I was a bit too enthusiastic with the darker pencil a little earlier, so. Going a bit more careful now. Music might be a bit too loud, so you also hear my music perhaps. So I think we need to make this the effect a bit more intense, so we need also the darker pencil here. Or I will use it, doesn't mean you need to if you don't want to, but hello Liana, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for dropping by on this sunny day. How are you? Here I have to go darker here than I originally intended. So we are already over an hour in. So at some point I have to jump a little bit and show you how to address the hair, perhaps even the crown, her diadem, tiara, whatever you want to call it. So something like that. Well, tired. Garden day, another one. I'm getting stronger and stronger, but I'm still overdoing it almost every day. Perhaps that's why I'm getting stronger and stronger. So okay, mouth. Just try to trace the shape. Also, I have to say, honestly, the more I see her Scarlet Witch outfit, the less sure I am that I really prefer it. I think that I actually prefer her outfit that she had when she first appeared. I like the headpiece, but I think I like that leather red long something coat. I think I prefer the look of that in general. This is very superhero-y, so it's pretty cool that they brought it in, but I think Ryan aesthetically I'm mixing German in my language already. A sign that I'm tired. Just from the aesthetics point of view, I think I prefer her original outfit. I'm not sure that I like her hair like this. Honestly, I think it makes her much older. I mean, this picture not, but if you look at the other pictures where she is just standing without the red background and everything, I feel like it makes her look older. Which is not inherently something bad though. We have not really been able to do a lot in this stream. I apologize for that. I don't know why. Time flies. I wasn't really distracted this time, but still for some reason we did not really manage to come very far, so I would try. We will continue a little bit like this, meaning working further and further in terms of shading and bringing it all together. So that means we have to shade the mouth and then start to pull that shading up. The start was good, but I'm not that happy anymore, honestly. Can we call them Avengers costume and Witch costume to make describing them easier? Does that work? I'm fine with that. Although, what you would call here, if you would call this Witch costume, this is much more superhero-y than her other costumes, her other outfits. And she also had a lot of, so it's not like this is her second one. She looked different. Of course, they have to show always something new. She looked different in every single movie. So there are a couple of different outfits she has shown us. So the lower lip is always lighter than the upper lip, or when you have light that comes from the top more than it comes from the bottom, then logically the upper lip is darker because it is like a shelf shielding from the light. While the lower lip has much more incoming light. You have the there it is, the teeth, which I've also drawn in, but I have decided that they were wrong, so now they are a little bit lower. They are pretty white, so we have to be careful not to draw over them with the black, with darkness. In my eyes, the trick to teeth that do not look like monster teeth is to not really go into any detail at all. So they will stay pretty boring. No hard lines. But honestly, this is still a little bit without definition, so I might have to find a way to put in a bit more detail in some way. This is very much without definition. So we bring down a little bit of the shading. do not have that much detail here in there actually. You have with a lot of people. I also have, when there is not as much hair in my face, this part here is very defined. It looks a bit deeper than here with her in this picture. With women it often isn't that deep. My Willow portrait had quite clear area. That is the one I released yesterday, so go check that out if you have not yet. Went ahead and checked which costume is which movie, and I must say all the other ones have a very different neckline from the one you're drawing. Yeah, that's true. But they hide a lot more her shoulders normally. Which costume is the most superhero looking one? Yeah, I think it's the typical materials they are using for superhero costumes. So it does not really look like, you know, it has this plasticky look, so it does not really look like something you would wear for work, but to Comic-Con. So I wish that they would have gone a bit more of a nature looking or old-timey material way, but in a modern way. I'm not sure, but they went full superhero on a witch costume, and that I loved it in the first moment when I saw it and everything, so my first reaction was very positive. But the more I see it, the less long-term happy I am with it. I don't know how to. I'm not unhappy. I don't say I hate it or something, but I think they could have improved on it. Oh, villain, yeah. Those are mostly very pretty leather jackets. Yeah, if they would have gone a bit more the leather route here, I think I would have preferred this design also. I kind of think it's fine since it's made by Magic, yeah, but my Magic would prefer leather more than plastic, I think. I'm not sure. It's Chaos Magic. Perhaps Chaos Magic likes plastic more. If you are watching this later and think, why is he not explaining more how to do this? Firstly, I'm sorry. Second, there will be a video version of this where I will probably mostly be exclusively talking about how I do stuff and how to do stuff. And there is already one of video like that out there. If you look up my other, I have a playlist tutorial where you can find my first draw along, and this one will also, the video version of this one will also be there then. It is really a full-blown tutorial, at least as full-blown as I can make it, and it is over 40 minutes long, so pretty detailed. So you can also check that out. Most of the lessons in there, even if you don't want to draw Tom Holland, you can definitely also use for any other portrait. Also this one, of course. And also, if you're watching this a week or even longer after it was originally created, this live stream, after it was a live stream, then there will be also a Scarlet Witch video. But ideally, probably you will watch both, because the Scarlet Witch one will not be completely as detailed, because I cannot always now start and do tutorials that are 40 minutes long. I don't think people would love that. If you want me to do that, If that is something you would love to see, let me know down in the comments or tweet at me or whatever. And then I will think about doing more of those really long tutorials, but I guess this one I will see. It will be as long as it needs to be, as I feel that it needs to be. Your magic would prefer sturdy. What is more sturdy? Plastic or leather? Depends on the plastic and the leather, probably. So, but we are reaching the last half hour of our stream. So what in general just is what you would be doing if you follow how I am doing it. You would continue bringing those shadings together. You would, for example, here the nose, this goes a little bit out still. We have shading here. We need to bring this up here and then go over the complete cheek. Here we have a shadow underneath the mouth. We have this bit darker area that is a little bit crooked. Stuff like that is important to implement because we're still searching for the likeness of Elizabeth Olsen in our picture. We're not there yet. Does not yet look like her. So the more details we can bring in, the more chance we have of making it look like her. Then we have the face mask. If you draw something like this artificial face mask, it is actually more or less the same with her clothes and a lot of clothes. You always, or it helps if you remember where the light comes from. And the shadow in this area can give you all that information that you need. So the light here, in this case, it comes actually from her hand. A lot of the light comes from her hand. The rest of the light comes more from behind her. So not as much from the front. And so, you know, if you have a artificial creation like this, shapes on her mask probably should have quite a sharp pencil for the fine details. And then you have to remember that how the light is flowing. So you have, for example, there's this little, you probably don't see it in the small picture, but if you have the big one open, there is kind of a like a little triangle, but not exactly a triangle, like a boomerang or something up here. And you always then have, you have that shape. Oh, there are so many complex shapes. I did not give you something easy to practice. So don't worry if it doesn't turn out perfectly. Here you can, anyway, you can just do it a little bit flatter if you feel like it and can ignore all the shapes. But if you have those, this is a bit of a banana with a little twist at the end. This is not even, I have to redraw that probably, but just so you know for now. So you can draw in those details, those lines, and then you have always to look where does the light come from. Here in this case, for example, it comes from up here, which is kind of, I get the feeling that this light that she has in her hand, you cannot see it here in the template. Let me show you what I mean. There she has a light in her hand, but that does not really seem to affect her face that much or at all. So you can ignore that, but the light comes from up here. That means up here you have the light and down here you have the shadow. And if you consider that and make sure that you have that light direction correctly, then you get automatically a 3D effect. And you do that for all those little shapes on the head, but always consider it is round. So the direct light stops here somewhere. So all of this is indirectly lighted and much darker. So probably all of this will be shaded lightly, and then the even darker spaces will be drawn in even darker. Or maybe some kind of carbon fiber magic material that only looks like plastic. Probably. Most probably. Actually, the material reminds me of the Batman vs Superman suit. Yeah, it obviously does not remind of Iron Man. It does not even remind of Captain America, because in all of those cases, of course, Iron Man, they did not really had a choice but to make it out of metal. But also with Captain America, it is quite interesting to see the blend of different materials and how they make that really look a little bit like a uniform, but in colors that makes it a bit more superhero-y. They also managed to get Thor, this mix of leather and metal that's a little bit Viking, and it does not look like that much of plastic. Of course, Vision is pretty out there, but also still he looks like very synthetic, which is 100% fitting. So they made a great job with most of them. So this is kind of an outlier actually. They managed to make every superhero costume kind of look like a superhero costume, but still rooted in reality. And then they have this one, which kind of makes sense because this is, although you could argue that the Thor costume also is made of magic, or made by magic, because at least when he puts it on in the first movie after he regains his powers, that's pretty magical. So not sure if I'm happy with, or I think I'm not happy with the jawline. Always when you're not happy, do not hesitate to correct and adjust. Those costumes probably made by dwarves and he just puts it on by magic. Very possible. By those giant dwarves, right? Dwarf giants. So I fear I also should give you a little bit of hints for the hair. I'm still not myself 100% convinced how to, but let's see. So what I always do is I go at the hair. So let me just put in a little bit of a shape here. Also a bit like the helmet from Magneto up here, and an owl, an oil, an oil owl. So, and then we go up here, and then different stuff happens. So we have the hair up here. You have kinda a part here, but not very defined. But I always try to find sections in the hair. So here, hair is lying over the mask. Here also there is somehow hair. Doesn't really look that different from the mask at that point. Perhaps it's something they wanted it to look like. So you have a couple of sections you can put in the hair up here, and then you start to layer. It's all about layering. And towards the highlights, you always draw towards the highlights, and then you lift at the end the pencil a little bit so that you can have quite light areas where you do not even draw anything in for the highlights. That's why they're called highlights, because you highlight them. And then there are the areas where there are not really highlights, then you can draw complete lines. And then you go in and press a little harder and go always darker, 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 as dark as your pencil allows. So if you only have one and it's very hard, then test out how many different types of shades in darkness you can manage. Test that on a piece of paper. If you have different pencils like I have, you can use the darker ones then to put in more layers and more detailed shading then. And then there is a piece of hair that goes a little bit further, a darker part, and then you have down here again darker parts that come together, and then here you feather the darker ones out again and go towards them from the other side so that you get kind of a darker highlight. And that way you move along and along to try to recreate what you see. Always a try. This is a small area, but when you go here, normally try to really draw one hair the full length without lifting the pencil, which is not easy, especially with this locked hair. And I also have to try myself how to really approach that. So for now I have actually shown you the easier part. I should not always be that honest though. She seems extra challenging to draw since the light seems to be behind her, lots of shadows. Yeah, that's actually why I also would have liked to draw that picture on the gray paper. But as I wanted to make this as a draw along stream, I did not want to take the paper that I cannot really expect other people also to own, you know. so it became this one. And then if you have it, you can go even darker. And I have this wonderful Blackstone pencil that's just crazy black, which I'm always raving about. And then you can just go crazy with the contrast. And then this is already a little bit mushy, so you have to be careful to keep that hair structure, you know, that texture that you get from layering single lines on top and on top of each other, which is not always easy. It gets almost lost here a little bit, but then so in the picture we do not have that much detail around that anyway, so not that problematic. Yeah, but that is, we have at least talked about most of it. We have seen about every part, spoken about how to do it. As I said, the shapes I have put in here, they are not really correct, so I will have to redraw that part. But we have talked about how to approach drawing it, so I think that is also a good thing. We have quite a rim here, so do not forget that, so it makes the mask look a lot more wavy, like it weighs a little bit more. It has heft. It's not just cardboard or something. It has a bit of mass. And also you have to draw this in so you know where the shapes begin, you know. So because that way now we know here it's kind of that edge of the boomerang shape down here, and with the other shape on top of that, this strange little banana. Then there's this hook, not laying directly on it. So it's a bit like a shoe actually. And like that you can just draw in all the shapes you can see. As always, you don't have really big of a choice here anyway, but draw the shapes however you see them. Try to recreate it as you can see it on the paper, not just, as I said, this looks a little bit like a shoe, but don't just stop looking at the original and just start drawing a shoe or something. That will definitely not help you. This, for example, is not high enough. And I will honestly not make this too precise myself. So this is already coming out much further to the right than it should. This should end about here, this line. But I'm not sure how precise I will do. Nobody will recognize the exact shapes. Perhaps the costume designer might recognize the shapes and say, oh, that's wrong. But most people won't. Then you can draw in also the bigger lines, the ones where no light comes in. You have, again, like this, a little bit of depth. You have here darkness because no light comes into this little crevice, and a little bit less darkness on here and on the other, on the lower side, the downside of that boomerang. And then we also have, of course, because it's three-dimensional, light and shadow, we have to consider on this piece, which is just a blank piece of plastic or whatever, but it also needs shading. And that way you work your way, as I said already, here we'll probably put in here a base shading, then you can finish the shapes. Here you can't even see that much, so you don't have to draw them. You can directly shade it dark if you want to, or leave it blank first. Yeah, but for example, here you can just start then with a base shading on top of the shapes that you have drawn. It has to move according to the shapes though. For example, here this is a raised area. The light does not reach so far on, so you can continue here and put the shading a little bit further to the left, which automatically again gives it a little bit of a three-dimensional look. So it is dependent very much on the base pattern that you have drawn. But over here, for example, you can just draw in a light base coating over everything and then continue and darken from there. But always the principle of this, looking where the light comes from, where does no light reach, and so on. If you continue like that, you get a pretty, hopefully pretty convincing artificial shape of this headband thing. Don't forget that the face is far from completed. We still have a lot of shading to do. And how far you go in terms of contrast is completely your decision. I won't go as dark as the picture looks. I will be using, right now I'm using the original actually, but I have a lightened up version on my Discord available if you want to also check that. You can use that as a reference for shading so it doesn't get too dark. this again gets actually already too dark because it's the same shade as this, and I decided to leave that blank. So we will also leave this blank, more or less, because you have shadows from here that rise a little bit higher. Same here. And don't forget that this tiara thing itself also leaves a shadow on the head, because that's how you connect it actually to the head, so that it does not look like something floating. Yeah, but I think that's it for today. We really did not come very far, but as I said, I think we've talked about everything. I left the eyes open because I still am not decided if I will go in with my red watercolor. Sometimes I like to bring in color into my pictures in that way. I did so with Harley Quinn, for example, still one of my favorites. I did so with a Black Widow. There I was less successful, I would say. If you also want to do that, bring in color. It does not really matter what color what kind of materials you have. You can just use and combine it. There are no rules. If you want to use it, and if you can use it, and if you have it, just do so. I would use watercolor. You can use colored pencils if you have some red, some orange, some yellow. You can just combine all of that in there to the effect whichever. You can use crayons if you want to, whatever you want to, or you can just use your black and white pencils, which I could also still decide to do. Point though is these eyes are not regular eyes, and they do not have that black pupil, but they are this shimmery red orbs. So, but you can, it's your decision. You could also decide just to put in regular eyes if you prefer to. It's your picture. Every decision you take is a valid decision because it's your picture and you decide how it will look in the end. Yeah, but thank you very much. Thank you, Deborah. As I said, this is not 100% representative. I am normally faster. I really don't know why we are not that far along, probably because of the measuring process in the beginning. I wanted to make it faster, but I don't think I really was faster than with the Tom Holland one. But what can you do? So, okay. On Friday, next live stream, and it will be a Buffy-centric one. We will be back with the Buffy Club, and it is the season finale for season 2. So, don't miss out on that. If you want to still decide who should be drawn on Friday, you can do that. Just join my Discord. You can find the link down in the description to the link tree where you find my Instagram, everything, and also the Discord. And there you can join the Buffy Club and decide on who we will be drawing on Friday. But that's all for today. Thank you to everyone that came. I still tend to list everybody that was on the stream, and it is still not that difficult, so sometimes I think it's appropriate. When it should be more at some point, it will be more difficult. But thank you very much, Reese. Thank you so much, Deborah. I really, really appreciate it. Bob, that you visited us for some time. And Mary, in between before you went for the walk. Thank you so much. And Alex, thank you. Liana, thank you all, and everybody that was here but perhaps did not want to write something, did not feel like chatting. If you ever feel like chatting, I will be here for you on Wednesdays and Fridays at least. 19 CET or 1 p.m. I think. No, 12 CT Central Time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I'm looking forward to seeing you the next time, and have a great rest of the week. I see you, I hope, on Friday. Goodbye.